Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'll be going through my AFL SuperCoach team review for round 5, as well as the preview for round 6, going through how I went, etc, etc. So before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see here, 21-18 for me, total score of 10,820, season rank of 33. I can't believe I'm this high, and season rank change of 63 up, which was a really good rank change to obviously see. Round rank of 764, so a pretty good round rank as well to see, which is really, really good as well. And a team value of 12.475 million, which is another really good factor in all of this. Then if we go to Classic here and we just go to the rankings here quickly, you will see also the fact that the top guy is around about 200 ahead of me. I'm not too worried about that either. And you can also see that I'm just down here at 33. But if you were to go through the ranks, you would see I don't think there's anyone ahead of me with a higher team value. And then also you can see a lot of guys just around 200 to 300k behind me. So now let's go into the side here, and you'll see first off the big boys in defense. Sheasel and Yo went absolutely huge. I know someone, may have been JD, also had a 145 from Luke Ryan as well, so he went huge as well. So defense was the new attackers. I think he almost titled this video. So that was absolutely huge from those boys. Good to see that. Wangadeen Malira 93, he was also really good. Just to get a good, decent score there. It doesn't mean that it was necessarily huge. I mean, Jordan Clark and a lot of the other defenders that were high up the rankings in terms of averages didn't do necessarily the greatest this week. So just getting 90s from the defenders here was pretty good. And then close to 124, he was absolutely huge. And if he keeps on going, he could be up there. So yeah, he's just a must-have at this point. Into the midfield, Bontempelli 73. That sucks. Butters a 130, absolutely huge. Glad that he wasn't suspended, just because, as I said in my fantasy video, it could cause absolute chaos. Having to sideways trade. You never want to have to sideways trade, especially in this middle sort of roundish area. In the first couple of weeks, sideways trading, you can sort of, if it's a guy not doing the greatest, you can upgrade, or you almost have enough leeway to get up to the big scorers. Whereas now you sort of, the gap's been formed, etc, and you sort of want to be upgrading at this time. You don't want to be downgrading or sideways trading, especially for primos. Then you have Steele here, absolute huge. Again, he's been an absolute hero at this point. A 143, an average of 130. He's been absolutely immense. Nick Martin, a 105, he's been huge as well, and glad to have him back on the side, as he just provides flexibility next week with the DPPs coming into effect. And also, I guess the return of Nick Dacos helps a lot to this lineup. Then you have I been counting my plays with Nick Dacos on the sideline, or if I had him in the mix, and that's why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm only, I realize my mistake now. I think I was counting Nick Dacos and on the sideline, and that's how I was forgetting to, I guess, effectively use the guys. Okay, so my counter wasn't too bad. I'm still 7 or 8 guys, depending on how you look at it, but I'm pretty sure it should be fine. Now, looking at it, it's 7 or 8 that I need to upgrade, which is fine. There is potentially 2 here, if you include Nick Dacos, so 2 here. There's still 1, 2, 3, 4, so there's 6, and then there's 7 with Dempsey, potentially 8 with 5. But yeah, that's sort of what I'm looking at, and so it's not as bad as what I thought it was. I thought it was 8 without even including 5 in there, so that's not too bad. So Nick Martin, absolutely huge. Bonner, 83 average, 72 for the week. I'm not too worried about that. Thinking about it, I'm not too worried, and I think he should do fine. He's probably going to go next week, just because his cash gen is probably going to be done by then, and that's all that we wanted out of him. He's not going to, with his disposal efficiency, I think it really holds him back. He does get mass disposals, but I think now that they've realised Wangadeen Malira is the one to go to, I don't think that Bonner will do much more after this, so I'm probably jumping off on both formats next week from Bonner. Harley Reid, he's doing absolutely immense and is a huge cog in the reason why I'm doing so well in Supercoach over Fantasy. It's just that I have him. So yeah, huge to have him. And so he probably, if and you'll see with my trades, if all goes well with, I think, is it Sanders that I have emergency in my final plans, and he goes well, and Jai Clark isn't playing, then I will probably only use one trade, which is a stark difference to the 3 that I've been using each and every week. But I think I'm in that position now where I'm hoarding cash at this point, and yeah, I don't need to necessarily make the trade of Jai Clark up to a combin, which was a potential thought, and you'll see that how that trade pans out. But it also gives me flexibility and means that I have, in the end, I have, where is it? In the end, I think I have this sort of backline set up here with Yo in the midfield, so effectively Dacos into the midfield here, which gets a player off here, and then if I want Roberts, Sanders, Sharp, etc. in the midfield, then it means Harley Reid's at the expense, and I'm sort of covering in this method, I guess, this exact team, but I'm getting basically Dacos in for Gorn, I guess, in effect. So that's sort of my thoughts with that. And then it also allows potentially it depends on tonight's game with Western Bulldogs and how Darcy and Sanders go, and whether I want to where I want to put that sort of loophole in, I guess. I know I have the loophole in the Livingston that I want to play. I have Caulfield, but he would effectively be locked out tonight, so cannot use that loophole there that I've been using quite a lot. So I need another loophole for the captaincy of Jack Steele, I think, the VC potential loophole. So that's sort of my thoughts on how that's going to run, and I'll show that in a minute. Holly Reid 108 we said was absolutely huge. Sanders 46 got subbed out, hopefully with Libba now out in concussion protocol. It should be Sanders not getting subbed, and that should, if we look at the games that Sanders been subbed in, I believe outside of that he is averaging a mammoth score. So was that 258 divided by 3 is 86. So yeah, if he gets an 86, I'm taking that and running with that, as an 86 locked in is a huge lock-in score. And Darcy as well, hopefully he can go big, as if I can get 2 80s locked in from rookies, then that means that I've only got two, maybe 3 other rookie scores, so I can almost capitulate on Closey, Sharp, Roberts, and Dempsey or whatever, and that'll be that. But yeah, hopefully I can get some good rookie scores in. Sharp, a little bit disappointing, 54, but he's been massive with the cash gen, 180k cash gen, still has a -7 break even, so he actually, now looking at it, is a potential to be gone this week if he doesn't pop off against West Coast. But if he pops off and scores 100, say he scores 100 against West Coast, that break even is most likely going to be about 50, and a 50 break even is very, very attainable. So I may even hold through that, because he only has a 50 score in it. He'll have a 50 score in his system, and if he can get a couple of 70s back, he should start his cash gen again. And so yeah, that's sort of my thoughts on that, is potentially if he doesn't go big and only scores a 70, he probably could be the one that gets chopped. Just because I think his cash generation will be a lot slower from then, even though he has this potential. You'll see here that the Western Bulldogs game, they're potentially saying that he scores big. So we'll all wait on that and just see his break even. But he is one that's on the chopping block alongside Sanders as well, given that Sanders just continually gets subbed at this point. 2 out of 5 games he's been subbed. So yeah, you just cannot be having that ratio with an on-field, potentially on-field, or a cash cow. You cannot be having them subbed out. It just sucks. Roberts back in. He's been going really, really well. Now with the Swans getting their players back, I don't think it really impacts Roberts too much, as his position looks solid, and so he should hold. Honestly, there's Campbell, there's James Jordan, there's some other guys. There's some of the tools that are probably going to go before Roberts anyway, so he's solid there. McKercher probably going to play, but his break even's like 80 odd or whatever. 101, sorry, break even. So yeah, bye. That's gone. Jay Clark as well. If he doesn't play, there is, and I think some other YouTubers were talking about this, is that Jay Clark, he could potentially be that guy that just doesn't play anymore. And especially with them having Rowan, Patrick Dangerfield, Guthrie's coming back soon, there is not much line left for Jay Clark. And that's why I'm also starting to get a little bit worried about Ollie Dempsey as well. But yeah, Jay Clark potentially out of the team this week. And if that does occur, then that will help to, I guess, get him, to hold him potentially, and to hold if Sanders goes well. So we'll see that in a little bit. But that's just my thoughts on Jay Clark. Going really well. Marshall, really happy about this one, especially with the news that Sam Darcy is also taking a lot of the ruck for the likes of for the Bulldogs, and Sam Darcy could potentially be just a guy that we hold the whole year and just loop him throughout with Livingston, etc., as that could be a way to get, I guess, the scoring going, because if, say, Sam Darcy plays early or something like that, then you can just loop Livingston. You can find a way to loop Livingston through, say a Marshall or a Gorn hasn't played. You just play them through the emergency if you're not captaining them that week. And that gets, I guess, potentially Livingston on field. I'm not exactly sure, but you need 3, 4. That doesn't work. You'd need a 5th guy. So we'll see with Darcy. It is kind that he does have the ruck status, but we'll see if that actually comes to fruition if needed, etc. But it could be good in the rucks in the bye rounds. But then again, that's where Luke Jackson comes into the fold. And Luke Jackson's probably going to stay on my side now, thinking about it, as he probably is just a good F6, even with him as a forward. Powell going well, Fife going well, Flanders going well, Heaney back, etc. Fife potentially won the upgrade in the next coming weeks, but I think he can just sit at F5, F6 for the near future. He's getting sort of averaging, what's he averaging? He is averaging 84, 85, basically. That's fine. That's like close to top 6. There's more damage in the midfield here at the moment to get with, and that's why he's sort of going to sit there at sort of that F5 as I get all the other forwards in that I need. Dempsey, a little bit worrying, but I hope that he can bounce back, especially because I need him on both formats. Darcy, as we talked about earlier, and then Darcy Wilson is making some cash. Even though he's butchering the ball, he's making some cash, which is a good thing. He's projected to rise now. As I think the Centre Bounce was saying on their video, they sort of expect, or was it might have been them, they're sort of expecting Darcy Wilson to slowly make his way up to sort of that 270, 280k range, and then we can jump off there. That'll be roughly around the 150k game, which is huge. So that is pretty much my review, and let's get into the quick preview for the next week, and you'll see McKercher buy that break even is way too high, and we have Graham that is just on the bubble with like a minus 90 break even, so we can complete that trade. And now you're probably thinking, okay, that's that done. How do we sort of maneuver here? And I believe it's something or other like this, and Nick Dacos in, and we'll move Sanders out to there. I think that was what I came up with initially. And so then you just do this here, and Harley Reid on field for Dempsey, I reckon. Then you still got what I want here. Yep, you still got that. Closey here doesn't matter, I don't think. Roberts can go on field for here, and then if he does do well, I will probably just think about this logically speaking. What can I do here that will get? I don't really want to get rid of Closey. So what I can do actually now is So that is the first plan. Then the second plan is to get rid of Clark for Combin, etc., and that sort of locks in a couple guys as Reid needs to go back into the midfield, etc., etc. So I may actually stick with this as, yes, I really hope that Clark doesn't play, as that'll allow me to potentially do a loop here with, and effectively, I think, get Williams out of the side, because I can put, because I can do this, Nick Dacos in here, and then Nick Dacos in here, and then Clark onto here. So that'll be what I want to be able to do if Sanders does well. But if Sanders doesn't do well, then I probably will get... I don't really want to get Comben though, but I hope that if Clark is playing, if Clark isn't playing, I will hold this like this. If Clark is playing, I probably will get Comben from Clark just because of the cash generation. I think Comben can get up towards that sort of 350k mark, but I'm trying to conserve my trades, and having 27 trades fills me with a little bit more confidence. Yes, it means that I probably lose out on about 100k cash gen from Comben, but I can just move Clark down to Biggie in the next week, or potentially something like that. Maybe a Ollie Dempsey down in the next couple of weeks, etc. And that will get me the cash in that I need, but I also get 160k in which I can almost dump directly onto... I can get Clark down to 120k that's on the bubble, like a Garcia or a Biggie. That'll get me up to about 210k on top of a Bonner, or on top of a D'Ambrosio or something like that, on one of those two guys. But D'Ambrosio has a pretty good break even, so it'd probably be on Bonner's head. And if I can do that, as they decide to not want to... Yeah, as you can see, Bonner's sort of stalling. It looks like they project he's going to make to 430, 440, sort of slowly progress up to 450k. But I reckon getting Bonner out now and getting up to another primo mid, and having a forward and having a line like this would be pretty good. I would be sacrificing Zach Williams, which is a risk, over a Closey. But hopefully that works out, and this would be the plan if Darcy does work. As even if and then we do, this is what I need to do actually, here, and then also there. I mean, that doesn't really work, that doesn't really matter. So that would be sort of how I set up for the week. It looks a little bit now worse that Jackson's in the ruck line, but I need that to cover Gawn. And so it means that Reed, and then you've also got potentially Darcy if he goes well, and if he doesn't do well, then it's Dempsey. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with the way that this team is forming up. Next week I'll potentially have, what is it looking like here? Luke Jackson back down here, so I will have sort of one rookie, a mid-pricer, and 4 keepers. So I got 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 sort of keepers at the moment, and 7 guys that I need to upgrade. In that, it's got Reed and Fife, as well as Closey and D'Ambrosio, and you will just see the amount of cash that I've got off the field already to upgrade there anyway. So I'm really liking the look of that anyway. But that is pretty much the video, and how I'm trying to at the moment conserve trades and really try and value, since I've gotten to a cash gen advantage, really trying to overvalue trades here to conserve trades to hold for just like little cash gen, and really conserve them to get the upgrades that I need in, and save trades to potentially get 20 to get upwards of like 24 premiums in case of injury and suspension, etc., and to do better in the buys when we have guys off, etc., as that could be huge to get the extra 30-40 points in each bye week just by conserving some trades. So yeah, I'm in conservation mode, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, to hold the trades. But yeah, just hoping that if Sanders and Darcy do really well tonight, and I get the good VC in, I'm going VC of Steele into, do I do Sheasel? I want to say into Sheasel. I'm not so certain about Rowan Marshall in terms of him in... This is the weird thing. Do I go Rowan Marshall in SuperCoach even though he's averaging 15 less than Steele? It'll be an interesting one, because Steele's probably gonna... I'm gonna go Steele into Sheasel, which is an odd one given my fancy one. But hopefully we basically see that somehow Steele outscores Marshall in SuperCoach, but Marshall outscores Steele in fancy, and they both outscore Bontempelli. And then I don't have to use the Sheasel captaincy across both formats. But we'll wait and see how that goes tonight, and hopefully Sanders and Sam Darcy can do really well to help me out there. But anyway, that is the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.